Okay, the talk of the NFL right now is the CBA. And in my eyes, we all kind of expected what is being proposed to kind of come to fruition. In my eyes, June 6, 2019, I said the NFL wants 18 games. The players want to keep it at 16 because the players have to stumble across the finish line, most of them, in the 16-game season with injuries and things like that. The NFL obviously wants 2 more games so they can sell them, get better TV deals and everything like that. I assumed on June 6, 2019, you meet in the middle at 17, you add an extra bye week, and off you go. So now that the CBA is being legitimately negotiated, I guess for the last 10 months they said they've been negotiating. Now the players and the NFLPA are being in one area. The NFL owners have been bird called to New York to vote. Things seem to be getting very, very close to the finish line. If you're listening to the NFL speak about this thing, whenever you hear the NFLPA and a lot of very important players in the NFL speak about this, they're all like, it's going to be a no from me, dog. JJ Watt, that's not the right one. JJ Watt is absolutely a leader in the NFL. So when JJ Watt says something along the lines of, it is a hard no from me, other players are going to look around and say, you know what, if JJ Watt hates it, if old Nino hates it, if all these Richard Sherman, all these OGs hate it, there's probably a reason we should hate it. And for me, this is where I sit in this entire thing. Okay? 10 years ago, when the last CBA was being negotiated, the players made a fatal flaw in their PR campaign in negotiating with the NFL with the new CBA. Okay? The old adage is if you win the mob, you win Rome. The last CBA, the owners won the PR war by far. They were the ones locking the players out, refusing to let the players in. And there's still fans right now that think it was a strike, that the players were choosing not to go into work. And the fan base was, you know what? We don't care about the millionaires. Just take the money and play. You're playing a kid's game. You're getting overpaid. We're here to ride with the owners. Because the owners started that PR war about 6 months before. They're like, hey, this is what we're offering up. This is what we want to do for the players. We're trying to take care of them. We're doing all this without revealing all the stuff that on the back end that the players probably hate and don't like. They're not leaking that type of information to the Adam Schefters of the world, to the people at ESPN are like, hey, this is what the NFL proposed. It's like, well, those are the highlights of what the NFL proposed. You're not actually getting the entire thing. This year, yet again, the players are failing miserably in the PR war of this whole thing. Okay? The NFL is leaking information, obviously, to Schefter. The NFL is leaking information to Dan Graziano, who was on Get Up this morning, who might as well have been a propaganda machine for the NFL. I mean, he might as well have been. This is what they're offering. They're offering up $10,000 a week to practice squad guys. They're offering up intuition, school. They're offering up all this stuff, basically talking about all the good things that the NFL is offering up because the NFL is leaking that information, all these people to do it, so that the fans are reading and hearing all this and they're like, well, what are these players doing? Well, you're not seeing the other 700 pages that are being offered in there of the money, the different things in the back end and all that stuff. And I, being a former player who sat through that negotiation, the last one, who listened to and understood that the PR was bad for the players, this time I'm reaching out to player executives. I'm like, hey, what do we hate about the deal, right? I have a pretty large microphone. We're on like 150 stations, I think, radio-wise. YouTube, DAZN, we're international. My Twitter does pretty good. The show does pretty good. I have a pretty large microphone. I'm reaching out to the NFLPA people that are executive members that are friends of mine, like people that are actually friends of mine. I'm like, hey, what do we hate about the deal? They're like, we can't talk about that. I'm like, you should talk about that. You should tell me what we hate about the deal so I can release it and say, hey, this is why they don't like it. Now, obviously, the 50-50 split is something that they want, but fans aren't going to get around to that. It's all the little things that fans aren't hearing that we don't know because we haven't read through the proposal either that aren't being leaked from the NFLPA side because they want to be tight-lipped about it and keep it in there. But in the end, all they're doing, since they're keeping the conversation in that room, that's all they're doing is keep that conversation in that room. Nobody knows why they're saying no to this deal that is being pitched by every other media member as a good one from the NFL. The players have lost the PR war already, and this is them making the same exact mistake that they made 10 years ago. And to be honest, I'm a little bit disappointed in them. I'm sending messages text messages and DMs to people. I'm like, yo, what do we hate about the deal? What do we not like about it? There has to be something, because right now, if you listen to every human speak about the proposed deal from the NFL, they're talking about how great it is for you guys and how much more money's coming and how many more opportunities, retired players are getting taken care of and all this stuff. There has to be some reason other than the $250,000 cap on that 17th game that the guys that are making a lot of money hate. There has to be other stuff that you don't like. There was a lot of stuff in this last CBA that people don't even know about, that I don't even think a lot of players knew about until like a year or two after it leaked out. You're like, oh, that's a terrible deal that nobody ever heard about because the PR was it. And I think the NFLPA is falling into the same trap right now. Well, hello there. Utilize the promo code PAYTHEBILLS and get $20 off your first order from SeatGeek. Now, back to the magic.
Court of public opinion, the players are already screwed because, what was that, on Wednesday or Thursday, I had this feeling like, hey, this is getting done. Like, we're going to have 2 more playoff teams, more games. The players are getting more money. This is great for everybody. But then all you see is the players on Twitter, them being vocal is actually, I think, hurting them and just saying, nope, can't do that without being specific. By
the way, the NFL released 2 months ago that a deal was going to get done early. They started their PR campaign 2-3 months ago to make it look as if, hey, we're doing everything we can to get this deal done. The players are being hard to bargain with, right? So not only are the owners going to be in the city long after the players are gone, right? So that's why the fans tend to side with the billionaires instead of the millionaires, which, by the way, not every player in the NFL is a millionaire. But the fans normally side with the billionaires, the 30 of them or 31 of them that are fighting for this, because they have brought the team to the city. They'll be in the city long after all these players are gone. They feel a much better connection with the owner, maybe over the long haul. But for the players are much more relatable to the fans than the owners are, right? A lot of these owners, now there's a lot that have worked their asses off to get their money, but there's some owners that were literally just born into $1 billion. They own a team, and fans think they can relate to them. These players are guys that have worked their asses off from a lot of bad positions. You got people that have accomplished the American dream coming out of terrible neighborhoods, trying to provide for their family, their community, and everything like that. But all fans see is all these positive stuff coming from the NFL, like, hey, this is what they're offering. And the NFL is almost like feeding information to these reporters to basically tell them, like, hey, these guys are acting like spoiled, rich pricks. And in the end of it, we have no idea what's in the actual proposal because we won't get 700 pages of it or whatever. We're only being told what's being leaked. And the NFLPA, I think, is behind the 8 ball without just releasing some of this stuff that says, like, this is why we're thinking about saying no, as opposed to just tweeting, nope, not doing it. There has to be, like, actual reason, because I think humans are understanding people. But when you give them nothing to understand other than just a hard no, it's like, come on, guys. Come on, guys. That's all I want to say. Come on.
So, go ahead, sorry.
Why is that, do you think? Because, I mean, like, there's obviously no legal ramifications. I mean, the NFL is doing it on the other side, so why won't these guys specifically state, especially to, like, a guy like you who they know is going to go to bat for them? And
I'm on your side. You just give me a little bit of reasoning, right? Because all I'm learning about, the only thing I'm learning about is from
the other side.
The other side, right? Just like all the fans. So now that I'm on this side of it, and even back whenever, because I was never a player rep, for numerous reasons, but I was never a player rep. So I wasn't in those inside conversations either. So when that lockout was happening, you know, whenever you would wake up, work out, take a nap, drink for 7 hours, go to sleep, wake up, work out, take a nap, drink for 7 hours, put that on repeat for 140 days, skydive at one point. I mean, I had no idea what was going on other than what ESPN was telling me. And all ESPN or NBC or these football people are telling me was only information coming from the NFL. So it was all one-sided. It's like, that's the thing that I think, like, you can be a great lawyer and a great negotiator, but if you don't understand how to get the public's opinion on your side, I think you're always going to lose. And in this particular case, the pressure is going to mount on the NFLPA to sign a deal, just like it did last time. Last time it was a lockout and guys were going broke and things like that. But this time the pressure is going to mount strictly because fans want more games. Fans want more wild card playoff games. Fans see that players are making an extra $100 million is what this deal says, $100 million. But if you do the math, it's only like $70,000 per player. So it's like all these things that fans are seeing. They're like, well, the players are holding us back from everything that we love. It's not the NFL doing that. And it's just a PR war that where certain things are getting leaked and certain things aren't. And it's like, I think the players are losing. This is supposed to be a Feel Good Friday, but I don't feel good at all about this. I actually think it's a very dumb move by the NFLPA, what they're doing. And by the way, as as a retired player, I think there's a lot of things that are potentially going to benefit me from this entire thing. From what I heard, I'm going to get free health care in the cities that I'm in and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, if I'm getting orthopedic checkups and physicals for free, that's the only information I'm hearing. I'm like, I'm 100% okay with getting free doctors and everything like that. It's like, well, there has to be something other than the 17th game that is capped at $250,000 that the players are like, no way, because there's a lot of players in the league that don't make $250,000 a year, let alone $250,000 a week. That Jeff Saturday mentioned this earlier that we have to negotiate for. It's just an interesting situation. I don't think it's anywhere near done.
No, there's two things the fans are saying right now. Players can possibly get $5 billion more dollars.
Yep.
And then players on Twitter saying no.
That's all they see. That's all. And if you just think about that from any rational thought, you're like, oh, well, that guy's saying no to an extra $5 billion. Oh, he must be an idiot. It's like, well, if you really start digging deeper, that $5 billion, what, just 1.5% of the 10-year deal? I mean, there's a lot of things to be, but it's just, I think that is a fatal flaw of the NFLPA.
For sure.
Is trying to keep everything tight-lipped and all this stuff. It's like, I agree you have to do that, but at some point you have to play the game just a little bit.